Right, I'm going to talk you through a little bit of fish for lunch today. We managed to get the beautiful silver steenbras, which is a pig nose grunter. Look how beautiful that flesh is. So we've decided for lunch we're going to do some battered fish. Now, the key to battered fish is that you cannot cook it for too long, because then it dries out. If you cook it for too quick, then the batter doesn't cook. So you have to get that sort of balance right. And how to get that balance right is the size of the fish. So look how small I've cut this fish. I've cut it thin and in chunks, basically like a fish nugget. If you're getting a big piece of fish like that, you can get the outside of the batter. The batter's going to brown, it's going to be raw inside. So first part is the fish. The second part is the batter, which I'll talk you through as well. And obviously the third part is frying it. That's very important. It's not just slapping it in oil and cooking it. So 3 parts: getting your fish right, getting your batter right, cooking it right. Okay, we're on to the second part, doing the batter. This will be the greatest batter you've ever tasted in your life. So I don't know quantities. There's absolutely no science to this. It's basically based on how much fish you've got. So I'm going to chuck some flour in there. Then the only way you can establish how many eggs to use is break eggs into the flour until you get the right consistency. And you're looking for, look at those eggs, both double yolkers. Okay, so I'm looking for a toothpaste consistency. Obviously I'm going to mix this a hell of a lot more, but if I basically look at this, let's mix this in a little bit more. Okay, I'm just guessing that that's going to be enough, so I'm going to leave it for now and I'm going to start adding my dry spice in. So I've got some fish spice, and then give that a healthy dose of that, some fish spice. Sorry. Okay, a bit of salt, good shake of pepper, and then the fourth ingredient in my dry spice that I use is a total secret recipe, but some people would look down upon this, but I use some brass spice. It's a 6-gun grill. It's the one I like, okay, and it's just got just some really good flavoring in it. So chuck a bit of that in, not too much. Okay, and then I'm going to mix that dry spice up, and the key to this is now you've got to mix this until there are no lumps. So a bit of hard work, and you cannot add any beer until there are no lumps in this. So it's going to take me a while, so cut back to it. All right, so perfect toothpaste consistency. It's exactly what I want. Now, I didn't want a beer over lunchtime, but it's a key part of the ingredient. So the cold beer, most people say use a warm beer. I think a cold beer is even better. So chuck in a bit of beer in this, and then it's totally up to you how thick you want your batter. So if you want a nice thick set of batter, don't add too much beer. If you want a nice thin beer, then chuck more beer. So that's just basically on preference of your taste. But I'll put some beer in there. Have a look at this consistency now. That's how I like my batter. Perfect. Okay, what I like doing here is I'll chuck my batter in this. We're hungry now, so we're gonna eat as quickly as possible. But if I do have time, which I never do, but if I do have time, chuck your fish in your batter and then leave it for, I mean, even if you leave it for the whole day, which is good, but if you've got an hour or two to leave your fish in the batter, it's even better. But check here, we'll cover it here, and then you've got a beautiful fish in your batter there, and that's going to sit while I get the oil ready for the frying. Alright, so this is onto cooking the fish, and it's an important part. It's not just dumping fish into hot oil, it really isn't. So I've just got an example of a pot here. This is a cast iron pot, and this is what I avoid using. I just find that the cast iron pot absorbs too much heat. So what happens when you heat it up and the oil's nice and hot, when you take the fish out and you put the next batch of fish in, it doesn't go into the fish, it actually goes into the pot. So I avoid using that. I just use a nice shallow pan like this, and it's got a shallow layer of oil. If I put the fish in, it will probably cover 1/3 of the fish, nice and high. And this has been on a while, so you'll see when I do put this first piece of fish in, it will make a really good sound. And I'm wanting to just cook this fish up quite quickly. Okay, so I'm guessing put the fish in probably 40 seconds ago, so I'm ready to turn already. So 40 seconds and I've turned and I have a look, and that's the color I'm looking for. Beautiful brown color. The batter is done, and that fish is now going to cook from the other side, and it's not going to overcook. When we eat that fish, it's still going to be beautifully moist inside but cooked through with a crunchy batter on the outside. So that's how we want it. Okay, this is done. This has been in the pan for the better half of 2 minutes, and that you don't want it any more done than that. That is absolutely perfectly cooked, and I can only imagine that it's juicy, sticky, and beautiful inside.
What you got there?
Oh, some salad. Poor man's salad. If you have a look at that the glassiness on that. Now that worked perfectly well. Exactly like it should be.